evening. I'll call to order the hearing, which is the Lower Island Township Board of Commissioners public hearing on today's date, which is September 22nd, 2025. This is the time and place for the hearing on the vacation of Gettysburg Road. The addition for vacation was filed by the petitioners, North American Coffee Partnership and Dairy Farmers of America. It is the understanding of the board that there may be additional representatives of PepsiCo Corporation. The hearing has been duly advertised and the proof of publication will be added as Township Exhibit 1. At the conclusion of today's hearing, the commissioners will determine whether to enact Ordinance 2025-05 to complete the road vacation. The representatives of the petitioners may be sworn and called upon the first witness.
Evening.
Good evening.
Let the court reporter swear, please.
Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give, which you think about the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am. All right, present from here. Just want to make sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So if we could just,
I need your name.
Again,
Yes.
state your name and
yes,
for the-
Ryan Anthony Conley.
Can you spell it, please? Just Conley.
Yep, Conley.
Thank you.
And Mr. Connolly, can you, for the record, can you state who you represent or?
Yes, so I'm here tonight to represent PepsiCo and the North American Coffee Partnership. All set.
You okay?
Okay, sounds good. If we could, can we put up the slides? Sure. If possible. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. So good evening, all. My name is Ryan Conley, as stated. Been with PepsiCo now for 15 years. Covered all of North America on many different occasions, many different occupations, but support the North American Coffee Partnership. So one of the things that Rich and myself, who you'll hear from in a short bit, we want to make sure to introduce exactly what we are, right, and who we are. I think that's really important to set the context of what we're asking for as well. So as the North American Coffee Partnership, you may hear me use the term, or Rich may use the term, the NACP, so shortened acronym. It is a 50-50 joint venture between PepsiCo and Starbucks that was started in 1994 and is a 75-year term joint venture. It has around 110 partners, so employees from both companies, so both Starbucks and the PepsiCo NACP side, right? And we lead the ready-to-drink, so you'll see that term up there, RTD, ready-to-drink coffee market, currently holding over 60% of the share of the ready-to-drink coffee market. We sell and distribute products across the US and Canada, working with a small producing network, which includes DFA of Mechanicsburg. So DFA is our core business partner in the glass bottle Frappuccino business, as well as some of our aluminum can products. This DFA Mechanicsburg facility is the largest facility and is a key strategic partner. So this is the one that I spend majority of my personal time at, supporting to make sure that we get the most products out of Rich and his team as possible. And once again, to clarify, this site does support manufacturing and products that go across all of the North American network. So out of DFA Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, products are leaving here on a daily basis on intermodal, on tractor trailers, moving all the way across the West Coast, East Coast, and sometimes into Canada. Bottle Frappuccino was started and launched in 1996. Shortly thereafter, in 1997, we then began partnering with DFA Mechanicsburg. This year, 2025, that site is going to be tasked, or is tasked with 21 million cases of product coming out of there. So that sums up my introduction of the PepsiCo NACP side business. I'm going to move it over to Rich and allow Rich to speak through the DFA side. Thank you.
Can I have you raise your hand, please? Do you swear that the testimony you're about to give, the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. And your name?
Richard.
Sir, use the mic so that.
Oh. Richard Buzalka, Buzalka.
Thank you.
And as he mentioned, I represent Dairy Farmers of America. I'm the plant director. I've been there since 2009, so I'm on my 16th year at that facility. Are we going to, we have a couple slides.
Yeah.
Oh, I
just gonna
have
use
it.
The mouse here, the arrows.
Cool. We sort of like what we do, moving milk through manufacturing. It was funny when we had the flood, not funny, but when we had the flood in, I think it was 15 or 14, the local newspaper said, what did we do with all the cows? They didn't know that we did not have cows at that facility, or they thought we had cows at that facility, so we get a joke out of it. But we do represent dairy farmers. And if we'll go down through. This is the facility off of Ross Moy. And again, this facility was built originally in 1970, 71. And what's pretty cool, it was built by Coca-Cola, and now we're working with Pepsi at this facility. So if you look at the history or look at our plant, 10 retorts, which I'll talk about a little bit, 2 glass line production, so everything that we package is in glass. We do the 9.5 and currently the 9.5 and the 13.7 bottle. The 13.7 is what you see in single serve, like at Sheetz or at Walmart in the coolers. The 9.5 is the 4-packs or the 15-packs that you see in club stores. And we also do a 12-pack for Walmart. As we mentioned earlier, the capacity and this plant is solely dedicated to the North American Coffee Partnership. You can see the size and just under 200 employees at this facility. As I mentioned, I won't drain every slide. Ryan mentioned when we started with one line, our federal line. And then as we continued to grow and the brand grew, in 2005 we put our second line in, production line. And then we've added coffee extract system. A couple highlights. In 2015 is when we went to a 24/7 production schedule. 2015 co-packer for Pepsi, because we are a co-packer for them. That's our role. And this meant a lot to the plant. As you could see there, out of 86 co-packers, we ranked number 1. And then in 2016, over 35 million dozens. Some more expansion that we did. This is the recent 17 and 18. And this is a nice stat. In June of 28th of 2023, our 6th billionth bottle was produced at our facility. We do about 1.5 million bottles a day out of that plant. So when Ryan mentioned that we're one of the largest manufacturer, we are, of Frappuccino. And then June of 97, so far where we're at now, about a little over 6.7 billion bottles. Some of our products, these are the 9.5. And our core flavors are mocha, vanilla, coffee, and caramel. And then we have some seasonal. We'll do like a peppermint mocha. We'll do a pumpkin spice. These are some of the 13.7 containers. And these are just a few pictures. When you look at tankers and how we support our farmers, we bring in anywhere from 5 to 6 tankers a day into our facility. We bring in CSM and then cream. There's our products. So if you come past the plant, out front on the top right corner, those are finished silos. They're about 15,000 gallons. And that's where we make our batches, our final product. Center is a filler. Bottom left is our retorts, as I mentioned. That's the sort of the heartbeat of the plant. That's where we stabilize and our product, shelf stabilize it. And this is a nice slide. It shows from the farmers, that's the Reading plant. That's where we get all our dairy, so it's all local. And then to our Mechanicsburg plant and then out onto the shelves. Any questions? Okay?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
So we just wanted to go over the survey plan, which is the petition that we've asked for the vacation of the Gettysburg Road. Basically, current layout, upper left, that pink or purple shaded area is currently owned by the NACP PepsiCo. And then on the bottom portion, that is the Dairy Farmers of America plant. And then in the center with the dashed dotted line going through, you have the Gettysburg Road, just over 480 foot of that road. You then have Autobahn that goes up through. So really one of the things that we want to call out is if this was to be approved, it would then mean that we would then take over and take care of that property from a snow and maintenance removal standpoint. It would also give us the capability to manage traffic flow much better, which we know in the past has been a conversation point. It will allow us to be able to bring tractor-trailer usage throughout that road to then bring them to the back side of the property, which is currently where all the loading operation goes on, which you can see where that arrow is pointing out. That is the the existing DFA property. That arrow is where all the loading operation goes on. So you have to naturally come through Gettysburg Road, which also has no pass-through, right? There is a section that is broken before it gets to the main highway. Any questions with the survey plan? Any questions with the thought and theory?
Okay, are there any questions on this? Okay, I don't think so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, does that complete the applicant's presentation then?
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay. So at this time, we can turn to staff comments. Are there any comments from the staff on the presentation?
If I may, for the record, I'm Solicitor Stephen Minor. Board, this is a practice that's permissible under the first-class township code. In this particular case, the gentleman didn't indicate, but between the two partnerships, or the partnership and the LLC, they own 100% of the properties on both sides of the road. So the petition is proper. It was, as you mentioned, it's been duly advertised, and the purpose today was to give them hearing and also to allow the public to, and the board to entertain any comments or questions.
Okay. Thank you, Solicitor Minor. And with that, we'll turn it to any public comments tonight. Okay. Seeing none, the last part of this hearing is for the commissioners' questions or comments. So I'll just open it up to the board one final time before we conclude.
Just have a technical question on, being that there, even though you're in partnership and both sides of the road is technically a different owner, who's going to accept ownership of this vacated property? Which entity?
Dairy Farmers of America.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Vallone?
Just out of curiosity, when you know, if this gets approved, will that be like gated right now where we would make the left turn into that part of the road? Would that then become gated like you'd see at any other corporate facility or any other public facility that would be, you know, not permissible, let's say, for the public to enter? I'm curious if there's plans for that.
Yeah, so on
Oh,
that.
excuse me, sir, could you come to the podium, please? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So on that regard, right now, we have no future plans. So there is no necessarily projects that are funded or anything like that, but that could be down the road.
So that, right now, as you see it, that's not gonna start off like this is where our company begins. You know, you see a lot of
That
corporations.
is correct. It will not start
with a
off like
gated
that, sir.
entrance, okay.
And if I may, Brian, just for the board.
Yes, sir.
You understand, or in your application, there are easements reserved for Low Round Township Stormwater and also Low Round Township Authority. So for the board, just to confirm on the record that there will be easements for the appurtenances in the road, but also access to service those pipes.
That is correct, Mr. Meyer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board?
Something just came to mind to
Sure.
me, actually. I was curious whether we would need to consider renaming the other disjointed section of Gettysburg Road now that they would be separated from the rest of Gettysburg Road, or is that not necessary? It always bugs me whenever I see, you know, two streets separated by something and not really understanding which section I'm supposed to be on. I was just curious if that had been looked at or considered, or if it's not much of a concern.
I don't know, I'll speak first for the township. You know, that's something that can be done by petition of the owners or other members of the public. But to be aware, I mean, in the township, you have, you know, the road in front of you is kind of emblematic. Hummel Avenue becomes States Road, becomes Gettysburg Road, becomes Simpson Ferry Road. So it's not particularly uncommon. So I don't know that there were any immediate plans. But again, if it becomes an issue, you know, it's something that obviously this board or the manager could consider at a future date.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, are there any other questions? Okay, I think if there's nothing else for the good of the order, we can close the public hearing. Is there anything else further that needs to be done, Steve?
No, Madam President.